On this episode of Bus Talk, we're going to talk about the two types of school buses and do an incident report on a bus crash in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
This channel covers all stuff about school bus driving. It's about getting kids to and from school safely to support learning. We'll talk about the lighter side of the student transport system. My wife and I married over 30 years ago. We raised two adult sons. We love our pets. I had a demanding and stressful career. In 2018, we decided to leave the rat race behind. I trained to be a school bus driver. This is the story of the joys and frustrations of driving big yellow machines.
Hi, this is Paul at Bus Talk. Our mission at Bus Talk is to get kids to and from school safely to promote learning and support parents and teachers. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the two different types of school buses. You have a Type 1 school bus and a Type 2 school bus. A Type 1 school bus is designed to carry more than 16 passengers and a driver, and a Type 2 school bus is designed to carry not more than 16 passengers and a driver. Okay, let's talk about Type 1 school buses because there's two varieties. There's the conventional and the transit. The conventional school bus is what we call a body on chassis, which means a truck manufacturer builds a chassis and then the bus company comes and builds a body on top of the chassis. The engine and steering is in the forward of the bus. There's a drive line to the rear axle. The distance between the rear axle and the back of the bus can be great. So sometimes these buses have what's called tail swing. Tail swing is an issue that I hope to do an episode on in the future on Bus Talk. Sometimes these type of buses are called forward control because the engine and the steering is in the front. Okay, transit school buses. Transit school buses are an integral design, which means they're built from the ground up. The bus manufacturer builds the chassis and body. The engine is in the back of the bus, so sometimes they're called a pusher. Okay, Type 2 school buses. Type 2 school buses are the smaller buses. They're usually a body on chassis design as well. Sometimes people call them van conversions. The Type 2 school buses commonly carry special needs students, not always, but in most cases that's what they're used for. The Type 1 school bus carries general education, but can carry and carries special needs kids as needed too. I've driven all three of these types of buses. I'm presently driving a Type 1 conventional electric school bus, and I hope to do a future Bus Talk episode on electric school buses versus diesel school buses. The last thing I want to talk about is wheelchair lifts. A wheelchair lift can be installed in either a Type 1 or a Type 2 school bus. Okay, that wraps up our discussion of Type 1 versus Type 2. Okay, so this is Bus Talk. This is our section we call Incident Report. In Incident Report, we look at bus crashes or collisions in the USA, sometimes Canada, and we look at analyze these accidents and understand them so we can learn from them to make it safer getting kids to and from school to promote learning. So today we're going to look at an accident that happened in Stafford County, Virginia. That's near Fredericksburg. This information was reported in WTOP News, and it happened near the intersection of Brook Road and Bixley Lane on December 12th, 2022. This bus was serving the Grafton Village Elementary School. This is a rural area, and the bus overturned on its left side after a Volkswagen sedan going northbound following the bus made made a pass over a double yellow line and collided head on with a Dodge SUV. This collision clipped the bus, causing it to hit an embankment and overturn on its left side. There were 12 students on the bus. 2 students were sent to the hospital. The driver of the Volkswagen and the Dodge both went to the hospital too. The report says that none of the injuries were life-threatening. I'm sure it was a heck of a shock, though, for the kids in the bus when the bus turned on its side. And it sounds like there was a lot of impact and collision on the head-on collision between the Volkswagen and the SUV. So our heart goes out to all these victims, and it sounds really fortunate that there wasn't a fatal here in this accident. There is no information in the report on what happened to the driver of the school bus, so I assume that he or she is okay. So what can we learn from this accident? Of course, I'm just speculating from the information that's available in the news report. It looks to me like the driver of the Volkswagen made an illegal and unsafe pass over a double yellow line. So in this case, it's really important that we keep in mind our emergency procedures on the bus. You can see in the photographs that the rear emergency door on the bus is open. So I'm speculating that that's how the students and the first responders evacuated the bus. And so it's really important that we do our emergency door procedures and make sure that they're fully operational, the alarm functions, and that we're keeping backpacks and books and other stuff away from that back door. The other thing I think is really important is this looks like appears to me to be a newer model bus. It's really important that everybody wear their seatbelt. On an overturn accident like this, if you're not wearing your seatbelt, you're going to fly around and flop around inside the bus, and that's how injuries happen. So if you have a bus with seatbelts, make sure that your kids are wearing them at all times. Okay, so that wraps up this section of Incident Report. Thanks for joining us here at Bus Talk, and remember, safety is essential.